Are you struggling to work creatively every day on your YouTube videos, your art, or even your business? If yes, I was exactly where you are, completely scattered and working creatively inconsistently throughout all hours of the day. Some days, I didn't even work at all, or when I did create, I relied completely on motivation and burnt myself out. But I used these 3 simple steps: ritualizing, gamifying, resting, and consuming, that I'll be talking about in this video, to go from failing to work creatively every day to creating every day without burning out. The best part is, anyone can use these 3 simple steps, and by the end of the video, you'll become an unstoppable creative force. But it all starts with building a ritual. Building a ritual is literally a cheat code to consistency. So I started a creative ritual because I wasn't even able to get myself to sit down in front of my computer and work. When it came to the idea of working, the idea of writing, editing, or whatever, things I had to do to grow my channel, it felt like it was like the end of the world, and I would rather do anything else than this boring task of writing this video. I'd have to use this mountain of willpower to just get myself in front of the computer, and then once I was already there, I would only work for like 2 hours and then go and eat something, and then come back for an hour and get bored of writing, or come back 2 hours later and edit for like 3 hours before I feel like I'm done because I don't want to work anymore. And I was just creating extremely inconsistently, completely scattered, without any semblance of consistency. That's when I realized I had to find a way to get myself to be able to just sit down and work like it's second nature. And not even that, but like enjoy the process too. I mean, like, I always enjoy it, but it's like, sometimes you have to do shit you don't want to do, and that's where it gets tricky, because, you know, when you don't want to do something, you will find every excuse in the book to not do that thing. And that's what led me to creating my own ritual. By building this ritual, it allowed me to start working creatively every day consistently. Eventually, it just became second nature and a habit to me. And now I can just do it every day without having to rely on a ritual. So it's not even something you have to do forever, just long enough that, you know, you program your body and your mind. So then what goes into creating said ritual? Your ritual can be pretty much built up of anything you want, but here are the 4 that I used that worked pretty well for me. You need a schedule, and this one's gonna sound cringy, but you need a specific drink. We'll get into it. You'll need a timer. Any timer can work. You need to remove all obstacles in your way. So let's dive deeper into those 4 things. Schedule. Pick the times you start and end working. The times you pick are going to become your work blocks. These times can be of any length that you want. I recommend making them, you know, longer than at least an hour, because then you'll actually, you know, be getting stuff done. By establishing and scheduling these creative work blocks, you will start training your body and your mind to be creative during those times. So when you go to work on your YouTube channel, business, painting, you are more easily able to be creative because you have trained yourself and built the habit of being creative during those creative work blocks. So outside of your creative work blocks, you no longer have to focus on the work and can instead focus on resting so you don't burn out. The specific drink. Now, this one sounds funny, but it's actually crucial to the ritual. Pick a specific drink you only drink when you go to be creative or start your creative work blocks. This can be any drink, but you can only drink it when you go to access these work blocks. What this does is it signals to your brain that it's time to go to work. It is time to be creative. It further reinforces building the habit of working creatively during the time frames and is the very start of your ritual. It's the switch or the signal that starts the gears or starts the machine. Along with your schedule, set a timer. So whatever your creative work blocks are, set a timer for the duration and the length of it. Me, I just use the internal timer on my computer. Honestly, sometimes I just forget about it even going on in the background. By setting a timer, it eliminates distractions and allows you to focus on completing the task at hand. Overall, it just increases your focus and allows you to be more present on what you are working on and therefore more effective. Eliminate all obstacles stopping you from starting to work creatively. If you have a bunch of obstacles in your way stopping you from even sitting down and starting to work, that's going to stop you from being able to start your ritual and enter these creative work blocks. An obstacle is pretty much just a distraction. So I removed all possible distractions from my workspace. What this looked like for me was ripping the HDMI cables out of my TV. Remove every possible distraction by building a schedule, having a specific drink, setting a timer, and removing all obstacles in your way. You can easily build your own ritual and start creating every day, and building the habit to create every day. But I haven't told you about the secret effect that building a ritual causes: flow. Have you ever been creating or working and looked at the clock and seen that hours have passed by in what felt like minutes without you even noticing? That's flow. And by building a ritual and turning creating into a habit, you will more easily enter flow, and the hours of creating will feel like minutes or even seconds. But you can make your ritual 100 times stronger by turning your life into a video game. Just like how you gain XP in an RPG, you can gamify your life and level up to become creatively overpowered. So what led me to start gamifying and turning my life into a video game was I needed an extra boost to actually get me to start my ritual and continue doing my ritual consistently. And that's where gamifying came in. Gamifying and turning my life into a video game, it helped me build the habit of working creatively every day extremely fast. So how can you gamify your life and create your own video game system? Well, you're gonna need a software. And like I said, this can be whichever app you prefer using. You'll need times, activities, XP, quests, ranks, and a reflection. The times. This is the schedule from your ritual. This is when your creative work blocks start. Your system needs the times when you start so you can award yourself XP for being on time. The activity. You'll need to know which activity, action, or task you need to complete. Completion, you need a check mark, box, X, emoji to acknowledge when you've succeeded. You need to have XP. Like any video game, you can't level up without XP or some sort of experience point. You'll also need XP for ranking up and when you complete quests. So speaking about quests, set a quest for what you're currently working on. For example, when I was learning sound design, my quest was called Dovahkiin. And of course it's inspired by Skyrim, but having an overall quest gives you something to work towards to complete, and it acts as a milestone. For each quest and task you complete, you gain XP to rank up. This will allow you to visibly see your growth. And these ranks can be whatever you want them to be. It could be as simple as just level 1, level 2, level 3, and so on. Include reflection in your system. Create questions you can reflect on each week. This will let you see where you've succeeded and what you've struggled with. Plus, you can give yourself more XP for completing the reflections at the end of the week. So with this system, you can gamify your life and turn it into a video game to reward yourself for creating every day and make your habit of creating every day 100 times stronger. If you want the video game system I created in this video, it's in the description. Help others learn how to create every day without burning out by making it reach more people. So now you know how to build a ritual to create every day and turn your life into a video game system to make your ritual 100 times stronger and reward yourself for creating every day. But without resting or fueling your creativity, you will burn out and crash. With only the steps above, you are a car traveling at 100 miles per hour without brakes. I had this notion where I was like, okay, well, I am okay with burning myself out if it gets me closer to completing my goals. In reality, all it did was burn me out even faster, and then I'd spend, the next week or days having to recuperate because I went full throttle and now I'm exhausted. So that was kind of my wake-up call. Don't get me wrong, I still have that notion in my head where it's like, I need to do nothing but work. I think it also coincides with the fact that I'm absolutely obsessed with creating. And this is more so to convince myself of this, because I hate taking breaks. If I could just work 100% of the time without burning out, that would be so cool. So I started resting. And the great thing about rest is that it made creating every day more effective, more efficient, and kept me more consistent. because I wasn't burning out. To succeed, you need to be consistent because you need to do it every day until you, I don't know, you win or you succeed. And to do that, you can't burn out. And that's why resting and creatively fueling your creativity is extremely important. You're not just resting. You need to fuel yourself creatively, right? Vehicles don't run without gas or electricity. So how can you rest and fuel yourself creatively so you never burn out? These are 3 strategies I have used that have at least helped me. Physical rest for mental fatigue, mental rest for physical fatigue, consuming, and micro rest bursts. With your ritual and video game system, you know exactly what times you are creatively working and what times you are not working. And during those times you are not working, you are resting. So during those times of rest, if you are physically exhausted, watch some TV, read a book, right? These are things that will allow you to physically rest. Or if you are mentally exhausted or mentally fatigued, which through a creative lens is which you are most likely going to be, at least I know I am mentally fatigued most of the time, rest or recuperate by doing something physical. Go for a walk, eat some food. For me, at least, I work out pretty much every day. It has helped me not burn out because it is a time during the day where I am out of my head, not overthinking, not thinking about work. So exercise really helps for that one. You need to fuel your creativity. You need to consume media, books. If you are regularly giving yourself new ideas and fueling your creativity, you'll have a never-ending supply of it to pull from every day while you are working. This is one that I've started implementing recently, and so far it's been working pretty good. It's actually turned into my favorite time of day. Pick a time during your day that's outside of your work blocks, and you can even put this in your video game system, but pick times during your day as small bursts of rest. For example, during my lunch, I completely separate myself from my work on YouTube. This functions as a small burst of rest, but I have to note, you have to separate yourself from your work during those times. If you don't separate yourself from it, you'll just completely, well, at least in a creative aspect, because that's mainly what I do, or I'm doing. I am mainly usually mentally fatigued. I have to stop overthinking, or else I'll continue to just mentally fatigue myself. My trick to focusing and stop overthinking during these small bursts of rest so far has been making and eating food. For some reason, while I'm cooking and eating, I am just not thinking at all. Usually I listen to some music, which I guess is mentally stimulating, but I will not stop doing that. I refuse. And it allows me to stop overthinking and separate myself from my work on YouTube. With these steps, you can create every day without burning out and become creatively unstoppable. At least, they've worked for me. Stay stylish. If you liked this video, click the next one.